Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the news from New Greek TV. A 13-year-old girl of Serbian nationality has died in Thessaloniki after inhaling fumes from a makeshift stove in her house which did not have electricity. Authorities said they were called to a home in the Xyrokrini neighborhood of the northern city at around 11 p.m. on Sunday. They found that the teenager had already died. Her 54-year-old mother is thought to have lost consciousness before regaining senses long enough to call for help. The brazier was the apartment's only form of heating, and it is thought the girl died from carbon monoxide poisoning. Sources report that the apartment's electricity had been cut off due to unpaid bills totaling around 1,000 euros, since the girl's mother was unemployed for the past 3 months. The girl's mother has been taken into custody. Greece has been upgraded by 2 slots to CAA3 by Moody's credit rating agency, up from C, where it had been relegated in May of 2012. On Friday, Moody's also assigned Greece a stable outlook and a not prime short-term assessment. The agency mentioned in its announcement that the basic impetus for the upgrade was the progress made by the Greek government in addressing the fiscal stability of the country within the framework of the program supported by the TROIKA of lenders. Moody's believes the country will achieve and perhaps surpass the targets for a primary surplus in 2013 and 2014. The country's prospects will improve in the midterm, and there will be a significant reduction in the country's public debt. However, in an article analyzing the next day for the new German coalition government, this foresees a bankruptcy for Greece or an exit from the euro, or even both, within 4 years. The reason for this, according to the Financial Times, is the fact that the OECD sees a stabilization of the Greek debt at 160% of GDP by 2020, while the European Union and the IMF have based their programs on an aim of lowering the debt to 124% of GDP. Prime Minister Adonis Samaras expressed the view that 2013 will be the last difficult year for Greek commerce, while receiving the annual report of the Greek commerce for 2013 from a delegation of the National Confederation of Hellenic Commerce, known as the ESEE, headed by President Vasilis Korkidis late on Monday. Quote, "I want to assure you that 2013 will be the last very difficult year," Adonis Samaras said in his statement to the ESEE. "I understand very well the difficulties you face, and I know many of you have had to lay off staff or hold back contributions in order to pay them. We are working day and night, and the light at the end of the tunnel is already visible in critical sectors of the economy, which have started reviving," he added. The Prime Minister noted the signs of resurgence will become more apparent in the next few months, reversing uncertainty and the negative climate in the market and the Greek economy. The discussion between the delegates and the Prime Minister focused on problems in the market. Mr. Samaras invited the Confederation to an extended dialogue with the heads of relevant ministries on issues affecting commerce in Greece. Quote, "The certainty the worst is over will lead to an increase in consumption, which will, in turn, restore Greek trade," Samaras said, adding that in 2014, "We are initiating a new cycle of resurgence that, through the contribution of all, can and must take a stronger form. We expect a lot from you, the Greek retail sector, not just from foreign investments," the Prime Minister concluded. Greece has by far the greatest problem, but has, during the last year and a half, responded to its obligations better than expected to the second support program. This is the message conveyed by German Finance Minister Wolfgang Schäuble in an article penned for daily Süddeutsche Zeitung. Mr. Schäuble notes that the decrease in public deficit has been achieved more rapidly than foreseen, and development data is better than expected. The German minister stressed that those that do not appreciate these achievements do not have the ability to adequately and objectively address the situation. The German minister also opined that Europe will continue to play a significant role in the future as long as Europeans collaborate, and that the idea that Europe should shed weight is myopic, while continued and viable development can be achieved through furthering European integration. Wolfgang Schäuble also pointed to recent European achievements, stressing that the crisis revealed the complexity of the European structure, despite which Europe has prevailed. The German official also noted that the path forward should be continued, and at the same time, new visions should be promulgated, while skeptics and impatient Europeans should be convinced to follow the path. 2 lawyers, a police official, and financial crimes squad officials are being charged for ongoing attempted extortion and a profession as accessory to extortion and passive bribery. The 4 persons are accused of asking for 400,000 euros from the owner of a pawn shop in order to freeze a check on the store by the financial crime squad that had revealed 16 kilograms of undeclared gold jewelry. 3 polls published over the weekend give different accounts of public opinion, with 2 showing a slight lead for governing New Democracy Party and the 3rd showing a lead by main opposition SYRIZA, while Golden Dawn remains in 3rd place. A poll conducted by Kappa Research for Sunday's EFTHYMIS newspaper shows 23% of respondents preferring New Democracy and 22.4% preferring SYRIZA, while Golden Dawn garnered 7.9%. They are followed by PASOK with 6.1%, Communist Party with 5%, Independent Greek Party with 4.5%, and the Democratic Left with 3.4%. The poll also shows that 45.5% of respondents believe Adonis Samaras as most fit for Prime Minister, as against 32.3% for Alexis Tsipras, with 22.2% of the respondents quoting neither. A poll for Metrisis for Saturday's Ta Nea newspaper shows 21.5% of respondents preferring New Democracy and 20.5% preferring SYRIZA. 6.1% prefers Golden Dawn, followed by the Communist Party with 4.9%, PASOK with 4.3%, Independent Greeks with 4.1%, and the Democratic Left with 1.6%. The poll also shows respondents preferring current Premier Samaras as most suitable for the job, with 37.2% as against 27.1% for Alexis Tsipras. 29.2% preferred no one, but the rest did not answer. In contrast now, a poll conducted by Mark for Saturday's Appenditis newspaper shows SYRIZA ahead with a margin of 2 points, and 29.7% of respondents preferring that party as against 27.8% for New Democracy. Golden Dawn holds 3rd place with 8.8%, followed by Independent Greeks with 6.7%, the Communist Party with 6.6%, PASOK with 6.4%, and the Democratic Left with 5.8%. A series of hangouts in the leftist-dominated Exarchia neighborhood of Athens were in reality entanglement venues set up by the intelligence agency EIP and counterterrorism squad of Greek police. According to information in the media, EIP set up a cafe bar in the district between 2003 and 2008 that was rigged with sound and image monitors, while the Greek police counterterrorism squad set up their own internet cafe. The latter, in fact, provided information leading to the arrest of 4 persons belonging to the Fire Nuclei conspiracy terrorist group. The venues were set up at a time leading up to the 2004 Olympic Games to avert any possible terrorist attacks then. The cafe bar closed a little before the December 2008 riots, according to some reports, because it was compromised. The arrests of the terrorists resulting from their entrapment through the internet cafe Palladium also probably compromised that venue, leading to occasional assaults and vandalism of the establishment. Greek Tourism Minister Ola Kefalogianni once again graced front pages as media were quick to capitalize on the opportunity of a sneak view of the beautiful minister's décolletage. Ms. Kefalogiannis revealed her charms as she curtsied to the Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomeos in Istanbul. The minister drew comments when she gave a speech wearing a revealing lace bustier, and as it seems, when she had to greet the Patriarch, she bent, offering photographers the chance to glimpse and immortalize more of her anatomy than she probably wanted. The minister, during her visit to the Patriarchate, had been attired according to ecclesiastical protocol, but the meeting at the sidelines of her address was unexpected. During her sojourn in Istanbul, Ms. Kefalogiannis participated in quite a number of meetings in order to promote tourism to Greece from the neighboring country. A return of Troika representatives to Athens before the 9th of December Eurogroup meeting is not foreseen. This was the statement made by Simon O'Connor, spokesperson for Olli Rehn, European Commissioner responsible for economic and monetary affairs. During his regular press briefing, Mr. O'Connor was asked about the Troika visit, to which he responded that at this time the representation of the Commission, the ECB and the IMF will remain at their posts and consultations with Greek authorities will be conducted at long distance. Mr. O'Connor also reiterated that there has been progress in talks, but open issues remained. Asked specifically on the issue of auctioning of mortgaged homes, the spokesperson noted that one of the main points for achieving an agreement was the protection of the financially weakest families. As he noted, the issue must be regulated in a manner that does not have margins for abuse, as is currently the case in Greece. The revelation, in fact, confirms what Finance Minister Yannis Stournaras had already foretold. Now, the Weather Service of Greece has warned that conditions will deteriorate from Tuesday on, with temperatures dropping significantly in most parts of the country, following a series of fresh floods over the last 2 weeks. The National Meteorological Service predicted that snow is likely to fall in parts of Macedonia, Thessaly, eastern Greece, Evia, the Peloponnese, and other areas. Gale force winds are also predicted in the Aegean. Temperatures are expected to drop between 6 and 8 degrees Celsius around the country. Biting, sarcastic, and acerbic comments were leveled by Government Vice President Evangelos Venizelos against the Finance Minister Yannis Stournaras, fueling the feud between them. Meeting with Greek journalists at a central Brussels hotel before heading to a meeting of NATO member foreign ministers, Mr. Venizelos was asked if the Finance Minister was being groomed for the position of Commissioner from Greece at the European Commission. Mr. Venizelos retorted immediately with a smile, quote, "Mr. Stournaras is irreplaceable and knows in the best manner what the Greek people, which he sympathizes with, are going through. In any event, he also has his low-pension mother and knows the real situation." As concerns negotiations with the Troika, Mr. Venizelos expressed the certainty that the next aid tranche will be given to Greece as the country has fulfilled the necessary preconditions. Referring to the issue of mortgage foreclosures, the government vice president stressed that the government would not back down on this issue that was socially unjust, adding that even if negotiations remained deadlocked, he and the Prime Minister would take the issue to a higher political level. Education Minister Konstantinos Arvanitopoulos has sent the Dean of the University of Athens, THEODORAKIS, to the Disciplinary Board on charges of keeping the university shut through his inaction and his inability to enforce the decisions of the Board of Rectors. Now, although universities around the country have been shut down for the past 13 weeks, with serious dangers that the semester will be lost for many tertiary education students, the controversial dean of the University of Athens, Pellegrinis, was in Paris yesterday performing on stage. The dean presented in Paris a monologue entitled Julian, based on his own scenario where he plays the role of the teacher of young Roman Emperor Julian, giving him advice while he's lying on his bed after being seriously injured in a fight. His passion about theater has been a secret for years, but after performances over the past few years, it has become common knowledge within academia. A heated discussion has emerged from his preference to follow his passion rather than stay in Athens and try to find a solution to the issues that are keeping universities closed. It's a shame that the Dean of the University of Athens chose the theater and not finding a common solution to the tragedy and drama students and their families are experiencing. Everyone should shoulder their responsibilities, and up to now, the Dean cannot rise to the occasion. So said Deputy Government Reform Minister Evi Christofilopoulou. We don't believe there is an impasse with the Troika. Talks are continuing in constructive climate. The aim is to complete them by year's end. So said Prime Minister Adonis Samaras after his meeting with José Manuel Barroso in Brussels on Wednesday. After the meeting, the two officials participated in a broader conference with the participation of Government Vice President Evangelos Venizelos, Finance Minister Yannis Tournaras, and EU Monetary Affairs Commissioner Olli Rehn. Mr. Barroso expressed his complete support for the sacrifices of the Greek people and the efforts of the Greek government. A check on about 2,000 civil servants that have sent more than 100,000 euros abroad has been requested by Government Reform Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis from civil service auditors. Mr. Mitsotakis had announced in an interview a few days ago that check on the ways and means of civil servants will become stricter and broader. According to ministry sources, the auditors will check around 2,000 persons that have been found to have sent abroad sums totaling over 100,000 euros since 2009. Checks will begin from civil servants already under scrutiny, internally or through the justice system, for irregularities, unlawful actions, or assets not justified by legal and obvious sources. If main opposition SYRIZA wins the Europarliament elections, then the government will no longer have a mandate to run the country, and national elections will follow. This was the gist of an interview main opposition leader Alexis Tsipras gave the Financial Times, Reuters, and the BBC. In fact, Mr. Tsipras predicted that national elections will soon follow elections for European Parliament, in which his party will garner the victory that has eluded them twice so far. As he says, anger in Greece has grown since last year's national elections. The main opposition leader also expressed the opinion that the extreme right-wing Golden Dawn party will also see a rise in the polls. The reportage of the interview lingers on the fact that Mr. Tsipras, quote, repeated his vow to cancel the bailout terms. It also adds that the opposition leader insisted that he would not abandon the rescue entirely, saying he believed international lenders and other Eurozone countries would provide significant debt relief as part of renegotiation, rather than risk a Greek collapse. In fact, Mr. Tsipras has been watering his wine considerably, rounding the corners that otherwise would alienate middle-of-the-class voters. So far, polls show that SYRIZA and New Democracy are neck-to-neck, hovering at about 25% of the vote each. In his interview, Mr. Tsipras distances himself from any rhetoric against Germany, although acknowledging that creditors are German-led and that Mr. Schäuble has different ideas in terms of additional debt relief, which would involve Eurozone lenders accepting large losses on their current bailout loans. Mr. Tsipras did, however, note his intention to create alliances in the EU, for example, as he said, with Italy, Spain, and Portugal. The opposition leader also reiterated his conviction that the bailout, as Germany is insisting on, is not workable and only spurs on a vicious cycle of programs that are programmed to fail. Alexis Tsipras also noted that the standoff between the Troika and the government that has led back the bailout tranche proves that Greece could survive without bailout funds for an extended period. Meanwhile, Mr. Tsipras was included in Foreign Policy's magazine list of top 100 global thinkers for 2013 in the category Challengers. Mikis Theodorakis was welcomed by the Athens Academy as a new member emeritus during an open plenum on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Academy President Spyros Evangelatos addressed members and initiated Mikis Theodorakis, which was followed by Secretary General Vasilis Petrakos speaking on the composer's lives and works. Mikis Theodorakis then spoke on the subject, The Only Solution. A concert with song and music by Mikis Theodorakis from Plays and Films took place on Thursday at the Piraeus Municipal Theatre at 9 p.m. Thank you for listening. This was the news from New Greek Television.